because there's so many more women than there are men, men have gotten comfortable. And I've noticed this transition from the 90s to now, that a man doesn't really feel like there's anything he's required to bring to the table. Because if you don't want what he's offering, he's gonna get it from this one over here. Because there's so many women, and women have conditioned men to believe that because there's so many more of us than them, that we're willing to take whatever it is that they're dishing out.
Our next guest that we have on today is Sharon. Say hi, Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
That's how you gonna get us started.
I listen. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. Comfy couch.
I'm so happy, Sharon. And I want to say thank you, because I know that you're one of our avid viewers. Like, you really get engaged in the comments. You watch the content.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So
the
Sharon,
topics are super interesting. That's what keeps me.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes.
We need that feedback, okay?
Yes.
So Sharon, tell me, what industry are you in? Tell me what field are you in?
I'm actually an accountant.
Okay.
Yes, and I own my own firm.
Okay, awesome. So that's good to know. And can I ask your age for the audience, just for some context?
Yes, I am proudly 49 years old, turned 49 this year. Yes.
Ooh, I love it.
This is what the new 50 looks like.
Hello, let them know. Right, it's true. It's totally different from, back in the day, what you thought of as 50 before. Yes. It's totally different. So yeah, Sharon, so I brought you on the show because I wanted to have this discussion about the modern woman, right? And what they're kind of looking for in men today. So before we get started, I want to kind of get your definition. Like, when you think of the term modern woman, like what would you define that to be? What does that look like to you?
Okay, that's super interesting that you asked that question, because mine actually comes with a bit of a twist.
Okay, tell me.
Yes, I am a modern day woman with traditional views.
Okay, tell me now.
So when I say traditional views, I don't mean traditional as in gender roles. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just traditional as far as I expect, or I would like for a man to lead in the relationship, in the marriage. Mm-hmm. Although I am a modern day woman, meaning I'm out here getting it for myself, doing it on my own. And I'm proudly doing that. I don't need the assistance of a man to provide for myself in the way that I'm providing for myself. So let me just make that clear. But my views are very traditional. So some might be surprised to hear that coming from me. People say I'm super aggressive, super assertive, and those things I do not apologize for. They've become very handy tools for me when it comes to business. But I do have a difference of opinion with a lot of other women when it comes to the relationship aspect of who I am, who Sharon is.
Okay, so that's a good question. And you bring that segue. I love everything you said, because that is, the big point here is that people are thinking like, okay, if she's a modern woman, she's out there, kicking ass, doing her thing, she doesn't really want a man, or she might bring that same dominance to a relationship. So do you feel like can you turn that off? You got to be aggressive, assertive at work. When you come home, do you feel like you can have that balance and be, not the lead at home?
I've actually been approached by men with this same topic. And you're right. This is what the consensus is, that women who are aggressive and dominant when it comes to the boardroom don't know how to turn that off when it comes to the bedroom. And I'm saying bedroom, relationship, marriage. Yeah. I'm of the mindset, I don't want to be dominant in my relationship. I actually want a partner. I want someone who respects me enough. I respect them enough. And I actually would like for a man to lead. And like I said earlier, where is he taking me? If I know that this man trusts God for everything, it'll be easy for me to follow, because that's my vision. I could do this by myself, but I don't desire to. So when people ask me, are you of the mindset that you don't need a man? I say no, because I desire a man. Therefore, I need that man for what I desire him for. I can respect a man that has a provider mindset, although I don't need him to provide. Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does make sense. Yes. It does.
I need to know that man has a protector mindset, even though I feel like I can handle my own. But I want to surrender to that relationship the strength to someone else. I am super strong and I can be there for him when need be. But I want to be able to, like, I have this girlfriend, she says to me all the time, I want to be a girl sometimes. I want to be a girl sometimes. I want to be soft and I want to be treated gently. And it's super hard for a man to treat you in that manner when you're just as aggressive as he is, or just as, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I do understand that. I want to be catered to when I get home. When I cross the threshold of the home, I want to leave all that in the boardroom.
Okay. So do you find that you're having a challenge finding men that have this capability? Like, what challenges are you having trying to date as a quote unquote modern day woman / traditional value woman right now?
Well, the challenge is that the mindset of men who approach women like me,
Mm-hmm.
it's already made up.
Oh, okay.
They've already determined that this woman doesn't need a man. So I've been told that I look like I'm high maintenance. And you know what I say to a man? I'm highly maintained because I maintain myself highly, but I don't put that expectation on anyone else. Now, if a man can engage in relationship with me and contribute to the maintenance of who I am, that's awesome. But I don't depend on a man to do all this. You know what I mean?
Because that was my question, is because I hear that comment from guys sometimes, like, look, we look at a woman and it's like, if she looks like she's out of our pay range, like, we won't even approach her. So is that true? Do you think, from your perspective, if a guy was to approach you that wasn't as ambitious as you were, you know, he was not balling, you know, but he came to you, could he provide other things to kind of compensate for that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Because my desire for that man, like I said, is not necessarily that he pays my bills and takes care of me financially. I'm doing that for myself. I want to know that if push comes to shove and a day appears where I can't do that for myself, that he has that mindset and he understands that, you know, I need to take care of this woman in any way that I can. It may not be, let's say I'm making more money. It may not be on the financial level that I can do it for myself. But if I have nothing, then, and he's there, I need to know that he wants that, he desires that, and he's capable of doing that. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I do. So because part of that conversation was that, you know, with the other women I was having is that, they're okay with it, but then the lifestyle, right? Like, you might want to eat certain places, you might like certain kind of gifts, and this guy's pocket doesn't match that. Are you okay with, you know, fitting the bill a little bit more than he does if you guys go out, not getting as high-end gifts as you would get yourself? You know what I mean? Like, those types of things. Are you willing to adjust in that way? You know what I mean? To be real, you know?
Let's be real. Now, I like this conversation. And my answer is absolutely yes.
Oh, okay.
I don't put the value of a man, you know, I don't put a dollar sign on the value of a man.
Wow. Okay.
If that man is able to, let me tell you something, as aggressive and assertive as people see me, and as I really actually am, at the end of the day, I'm very emotionally sensitive. So I'm very guarded emotionally when I meet people. I don't let people in too easily. When it comes to my emotions, I'm protective, right? Because if I open myself up and I let you in, what you bring to the table, how you cater to my heart, can I trust you with my heart? That's one of the most important things for me. Not can you pay my bills? Ooh. Can you provide the lifestyle that I've established for myself? No. No. I need to know that you can take care of my heart.
Ooh! All right, now preach.
Absolutely.
You know, because that's why I'm having these conversations too, to kind of get rid of those myths that, you know, some people might have, because it is different from back in the day. Back in the day, you needed a man financially, right? You know, or else you wouldn't survive, a lot of folks. But nowadays, it's like women are already like you know, already making a life for themselves. So it's like, what can men bring nowadays? And like you said, and I believe the other women will say as well, that it's different, right? It's things like your heart, like support, and those kinds of things that you can't, you know what I mean?
Yes.
That we more so need than the financial aspect of it. And I think women that are killing it like you would be willing to, you know, take on men like that. So I wanted to have that discussion. So now let's talk about your other friends though, because I know you seem different, but the other friends, do you have friends or females you know that are kind of, I want to say high earning or business owners or, you know, making decent money as well? Do you have friends that are like that?
I would consider them to be more colleagues
Okay.
than friends
So the
because
colleagues,
the
oh,
friends,
sorry.
yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, so I'm saying, so those women that you know, are they like you? Are they kind of flexible or are they really looking for men that are kind of like on their level?
That's interesting because I've heard the conversation. A lot of them are looking for a man who can do as much as they do or more. They are
Okay.
not willing to accept anything less than what they can provide for themselves. And I will tell you this, my father always told us growing up, the girls, never live your life dependent financially on a man. He always said, get out there, get your own, because if God forbid that man leaves or dies, you are able to take care of yourself. And I will never forget that, ever. So me being as aggressive and assertive as I am when it comes to business, trying to establish a certain lifestyle for myself, this is how I want to live. So this is what I'm out here trying to achieve, right? And it has nothing to do with making myself look better than anyone else. It's a comfortable lifestyle for me. If I can't provide it, then I will live where I'm at. I would never live above my means, right? But the more that I can provide for myself is the more that I want for myself. And so I'm not going to put the value, like I said, in a relationship. You know, I'm not measuring that against money and finances. I'm not doing that. Because at the end of the day, somebody making what I make or more may not be as sensitive to me emotionally. It may not cater to me, you know, my feelings and respect me and support me. I'm out here doing a lot. I really am. And I need a man who understands that my time is very little right now because I have goals for myself, but I need for him to be supportive. And I made this joke to someone the other day. It was a guy. And I said, I have 1 hour in my 24 hours to give to a man. And if he doesn't do everything he can in that 1 hour, he will not get more time from me. Because I have missions and I have goals for myself. Actually, you know, I said I want to make my first million by the time I'm 50. I have a year. So you're going to have to be okay with that 1 hour.
No, I mean, and that's real. The challenges are different. It's really different.
Yeah.
So the whole on the other side, so we're thinking, okay, traditionally or innate, let's say, men want to be, you know, the provider, men want to be that. So now that we're asking men to do something that they may think does not come natural to them, support you, like emotionally be there for you,
Right.
these kinds of words that we want to use, and they feel like, look, I'm not designed or equipped. No one's taught me that. I haven't seen that of how to be
Okay.
that to you. And you know, vice versa, you're the opposite way. So it's like, how can we're asking men to do this, but are we willing to compromise? Are we willing to say, okay, you are the supporting role, so if I am the lead, if you make 30, let's say the average guy in the US, let's say makes 30 something, $40,000, are you willing to accept a guy that's like that? So he might not be as ambitious, he might not be killing, but he'll rub your feet when you get home, he'll help make those calls to your clients, he'll, you know what I mean? Like, can he, are you, you know, willing to are women willing to do that? You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I will say this, I've always, let's see, I was married before. So let me just put that out there. And my husband at the time was just as ambitious, if not more ambitious than myself.
Okay.
So we pushed each other. He started his own business when he came out of the military. He worked for a little bit and started his own company. And I was his entire back office. I was the secretary. I was his accounting department. I was the receptionist, name it. His clients thought he had an entire back office and it was just me.
Wow.
That is who I am. And when the time came for me to start my own business, because I had several when I was married, my husband was one of the more supportive people. I started a company where I was doing gift baskets to the different hospital gift shops. And I would do these little care packages that they sold in the gift shops. And I remember getting 2 or 3 contracts with 3 different hospitals. And do you know that my husband at the time, who's my ex now, He went and became my delivery guy. He had a t-shirt made with my company logo on it, unbeknownst to me. And so just to make me look professional to these people, he said, I'm going to be your delivery guy. You don't need to go and deliver your own product because then it makes you look like a one-man show. And this is what I'm talking about. So even if he didn't have financially what it took to contribute, he supported. Now, I don't need a man to take gift baskets to the gift shops, but I do absolutely desire a man to say, babe, how did that meeting go? You know, did you land that client? Go, baby, go. Like, I need a cheerleader. I need a supporter. There, you can, that means the world to me. And again, that's in the heart.
Yes.
You may not be able to say, well, I'm going to invest financially, which would be awesome, but I need emotional investment. I need support.
And you're willing to do the same with him, because that's the thing
Absolutely.
too, is that taking time out of your day to do that as well and support his ambitions, even if it's not as grand, you know,
yes.
that other people may look at. Okay, so have you noticed that with all these challenges going on in the modern women trying to date today, do you notice that some women are just choosing to be single? They're like, look, I had enough of this. It's not working out. I'm just going to have mimosas with my girl. We're going to go to brunch. And this is going to be my life because I'm done.
Yes.
Have you noticed that?
Yes. Listen, there's so much, you know what, in the dating pool that it really makes you want to just give up. Not necessarily on a relationship, but for now, like just put your focus 100% into either getting more education, starting a company, getting, you know, working your way up the ladder in your career, whether on a job or just do things for yourself. It is exhausting, the mindset of men these days. And I know the world has changed since I was married 20 some years ago, but the mindset of men, you know, and I think, you know, and I had this conversation with my girls. I believe it's our fault as women.
Oh,
yes. And I'm gonna take accountability because, and I've never done this, but in general, let me speak for a lot of the women that I've had conversations with. We have, in general, not me specific, but we have trained these men to, let me see how to word this. We've conditioned men to believe that we're out here dating to get a ring. And because there's so many more women than there are men, men have gotten comfortable. And I've noticed this transition from the 90s to now, that a man doesn't really feel like there's anything he's required to bring to the table. Because if you don't want what he's offering, he's gonna get it from this one over here. Because there's so many women. And women have condition men to believe that because there's so many more of us than them, that we're willing to take whatever it is that they're dishing out. So then they approach a woman like me and they realize, oh, she's not putting up with the shenanigans. And I've actually been told, do you understand that where you're standing, there are 9 other women behind you just waiting for this opportunity that you have? Woo! And you know what I said to this man? Then you go ahead and you entertain those 9 other women. And we never dated, we remained friends. And he approached me several times with that same conversation. You will never be in a relationship with me, telling me that if I'm not willing to accept whatever you're dishing out, that there's other women who will, well, then go ahead. Ooh. I'm not settling, no ma'am, no ma'am, Pam.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
you know, that's powerful. If, like you said, more women were to stand up and do that.
Yes, I make a joke with my girls and I'm like, ladies, let's start a revolution.
Yeah.
Let this man realize that if Sharon isn't gonna do it, then Tiffany isn't. And if Tiffany's not gonna do it, then Tanya's not. And if Tanya's not gonna do it, then Cynthia isn't gonna do it. And at some point, this man is gonna say, well, what is going on? Woo! What's happening? But if we continue to accept what they are presenting to us, they're never going to raise their standard. They're never going to step their game up. They're always going to, you know, and no disrespect to men. Hear me and hear me well.
We know.
But in my experience, I've realized that men are kind of like children. They will do whatever it is that you allow them to get away with.
Oof.
And I have actually heard a man admit this, that because this was all she ever required. So I didn't feel like I needed to do much more of anything because this is what she required. This is what she was willing to accept.
Ooh.
Come on, ladies, let's do better.
Oh my gosh, Sharon. Ooh, you bring
yes,
it in.
Ma'am.
The last time. Oh my gosh. Ooh. You're being real, Sharon. And it's
yes.
I
Let's start a revolution. Let's
that.
start saying no. Start saying no. No, sir. And then she'll say, no, sir. And when they realize there's not a woman in the room that's willing to accept the shenanigans, they're either going to leave the room and find another room, or they're going to change their mindset. They're going to start to respect us a little more. But if we don't require it, we won't get it.
Oof. And do you think it's a maturity thing? Guys who are watching this, I want y'all to leave comments in the comment section. Because do you think it's a maturity thing? Like, do you think that, at some point, yeah, it might be like that at first, but when a man decides that, okay, I'm a man now, like I actually want to settle down, that he values women like you that say no, and you're the kind of woman he wants. Like he doesn't want to deal with all these other 9 women that just accept anything. Or do you think that man or no man, like, if guys are given the opportunity, they're going to play, if they can, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I honestly do feel that men are kind of sort of like children, not disrespectful as in, like to be taken for nothing. Yes. That's not what I mean.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed, and I've said this to someone just recently, that I've noticed that men are contingent and women are more unconditional. Because if we're in a relationship, we commit to the relationship, not just the man. Because when that man hurts us, he hurts our feelings, he disrespects us. Women are consistent with the behavior. We continue to cook, we continue to clean, we cater, we pray for, these things never stop. We may cry to our girlfriends, we may seek help outside of the relationship, third-party intervention, but we never stop. When a man feels he's not being, provided for or respected or whatever it is that he desires, his behavior changes. He stops.
Oof.
I've noticed that his kind words are now sharp. His sensitivity now he becomes insensitive. He changes his behavior. His behavior is contingent upon his circumstances. Not all men, but men in general.
Oof.
And this is a problem. I will never tell a woman stop being consistent, but what I want to say to the men is we need more consistency from you.
Oof. Ooh, Sharon, you're bringing all kinds of stuff up on this episode.
Revolution. Yes.
So my last question kind of to you is, what do you think about women that do have the traditional kind of, homemaker? Do you think that the modern day woman kind of looks down on that, or doesn't really see that woman as, a quote unquote high value? Like this whole perception, if your daughter, for example, said, hey mom, I don't want to get a job and stuff, I want to be a homemaker. Are you gonna look at her like, girl, what did I teach you that? You know what I mean? Like, do you think people look down on that nowadays?
That's a very good question, because I don't look down on a woman who wants to accept gender roles. I'll say that, because like I said, I'm a very modern day woman with traditional values. Mm-hmm. But if she wanted to play the gender role, meaning that woman stays home, keeps the homes, I would respect it. But because what my dad taught me is etched in my brain, what if this man leaves? The good thing about my daughter is she does have an education. So if God forbid something happens where she's on her own, she has something to fall back on. So if there's a woman out there who's not yet educated herself or equipped herself for life, and she wants to get married and stay home and raise her kids and cater to her husband, clean her house, my only advice to you is please, please, please have something in place in case you wind up by yourself. I, for a short time years ago, during the recession, was working at a call center, and we were dealing with Medicare and older, senior citizens. Do you know how many of the older women call the senior citizens? They don't know how to write checks because their husbands always paid the bills. They never went to school, got an education. So they didn't even understand a checkbook. They did not know, now that their husband had passed, how to function by themselves. They needed their kids to come in and teach them everything at this senior age. I wouldn't want that for another woman. So woman to woman, equip yourself. Whatever you decide to do, I can respect another woman, because it takes strength to be a homemaker.
Oh, yes, it does.
It takes strength to be a homemaker, to be at home, picking up after people, catering to people. Sometimes you need a vacation from that. So it's work. Yes. I will never disrespect a woman who's making that choice, because I've had to do it after I had my kids sometimes. It's hard work.
It is.
And if there's a man out there, I need you to understand, and you meet a woman like that, you need to respect that woman, because that's not easy.
Exactly.
It's not easy. So my advice to her would be, have something and have a backup plan in case.
You know, and that's a big part of it too, Sharon, is that I was told the same thing, right? That you want to make sure you get educated and stuff just in case something happens, because back in the day, that's what would happen. Women were so dependent on it. So if, you know, he left or died or whatever, they would be out of luck. And not only that, but then they were kind of allowed to treat women poorly because the woman had to depend on them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was taught the same thing. So it's like, how do we keep those same thoughts of, hey, I need to be able to take care of myself just in case, but then still, you know, fill the role of still being a support to your husband. So I think you made a very good point in terms of, it's just good to get educated, right? It's just good to have some valuable skill sets, not only in case it doesn't fall through, but in case sometimes if your husband is out of work or you need some extra income, it's just going to make yourself more of an asset to you and your children if you have those skills as well. So if you look at it that way, I think that's a healthy way to look at it as well. So, oh my gosh, Sharon, great conversation.
Again, listen, to the men out there who are going to come for me, I'm willing to come back and address those comments and, you know, have the conversation, because this is what we as women are dealing with. You know what I mean? So you can't take that away from us. And yes, I still stand behind the fact that a man will do whatever it is that you allow him to get away with. And that's human beings in general. So let me just say that, because there are some women as well who will do. But we're talking about man, woman here. And I'm a woman who I've noticed that if I don't tell a man, this is not okay, he'll continue to do it. If I don't say to a man, this is what I require, then he will never try to offer that. If I don't let him know that something either hurts me or makes me happy, I don't see, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there are men who will be honest and say to you, well, that's not who I am. I'm not, unfortunately, I'm not the type of man who can do this. And we've established then we're not meant to be in a relationship, and they've remained good friends.
Okay. Ooh,
yeah.
I love
Listen, let me tell you this really quickly. I have a guy friend I call my chicken wing and beer buddy, right? Because the day we met, you know, we met under circumstances where I said, it was a place that I used to hang out, have fun, just let my hair down and just hang out after work. And I said, I'm not dating anyone that I meet here, because I like this space. It's free, it's liberating, there's nothing stressful here. And I met this gentleman here. He walked in and he was not dressed in the manner that I would have been interested. Okay, let me just say that. And so I'm not gonna lie, immediately I took a look at him and I assumed or determined that this man, nah. But I would notice that he tried to make conversation, you know, made little jokes or whatever. So you know, when someone's interested in you, you feel the vibes.
Right. Right.
And so I said nothing, you know, we joked around or whatever. And then finally one day he approached me directly and asked if he could take me out. So of course I have this way that I joke when I'm uncomfortable, or when I notice someone else is uncomfortable, I make jokes to kind of like ease the tension.
Yes.
So I told him, I said, no, unfortunately, I'm not dating anyone that I meet here. And this is where I met you. So, oops, sorry, maybe if it was somewhere else, you know. And he laughed. And then I thought to myself, like, he's not in my space. I'm not gonna say on my level. But then we sat down and had a conversation. And when I say I was blown away, I was super blown away. This man could speak on any and every conversation, politics. He was very knowledgeable. he really, really impressed me. But there was one thing this man said to me that made me say, mm-mm. He asked me, because of course he looked at me and made an assumptions of his own, the high maintenance thing. And I told him, I said, well, the type of lifestyle that I live, I love red carpets. I love black tie affairs. I go to a lot of networking events. The circle that I run in is really, and this gentleman said to me, under no circumstances do I believe that I ever need to wear a suit unless I'm going to a funeral or I have to appear in court. And I thought that was one of the most ghetto. I'm sorry. I thought I was super disappointed for someone so intelligent to me to say something so ignorant. So I said, so if you and I dated, I have to find a +1 to go to these events too, because this is what I enjoy. And he couldn't answer me. Now, mind you, I love chicken wing and beer. So I don't have a problem. I tell people, they're surprised to find out I'm actually a t-shirt and jeans type of chick. I love t-shirts, jeans, tennis shoes, baseball caps. I will go to a sports bar. I love football, love basketball, love boxing, love wrestling. These are things that my dad actually taught me to understand these games. And I love it. Like I can sit at home and do it by myself. So I don't have a problem going to a sports bar. But if I'm willing to go with you in a t-shirt, some jeans, baseball cap, tennis shoes to a sports bar to enjoy chicken wings and beer and watch a game, why are you telling me that you refuse to put on a suit to go with me to a black tie affair? No. So we remain friends. It's been 16 years we've been friends, and I call him my chicken wing and beer buddy because he's never gonna be anything else. Sorry.
No, sir. Oh my God.
And this man has a great job. Let me put it out there, and makes great money, great benefits. An awesome father to his one daughter. When I say but just the mindset, no.
Sharon, see, I'm looking at it from the outside like, this man have everything, and because he don't want to wear a suit, you're not going to give him a shirt? What is this?
It's the mindset for me. It's the mindset. Why would you say you never have to, you don't think under any circumstance you ever should wear a suit? Unless you're in court or a funeral? What? No. I know they're coming for me. Y'all are coming for me, and I'm okay. I'm coming back. If she'll have me back, I'll be back. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. He's super cool though. We've been great friends.
Y'all couldn't agree on maybe just a nice set with that's not a suit, like a different kind of outfit. Not that y'all couldn't. Sure, y'all could make that work. Oh my God.
It wasn't necessarily the suit. Those events he was not interested in.
So that's such a huge part of your life that you just
Thank you.
It is? Okay.
Yes.
Like how many of those do you go to? Like how often do you go to one of those?
I used to go very frequently, before the pandemic.
Oh,
yes. It's how I make money. It's how I gain clients. I go to a lot of networking functions. I'm always at these events. And so a lot of times they're galas or dinners.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
I'm supposed to go solo do I need to go solo to these events?
Y'all can work something out. You can say, okay, let him wear his African, two-piece that looks legit. Like maybe y'all could have worked something out. I mean,
he didn't. I felt like with him saying so adamantly that under no circumstance. So you see where it started with him not willing to compromise. And I wasn't going to force you to wear a suit.
Oh my God. Wow. This is interesting. We have to do a whole nother, this is another episode, Tara. I can't.
They're going to talk about me. They're going to call me bougie. They're going to call me high maintenance. They're going to call me everything. But it's the mindset for me. I would have been willing to compromise if my man did not want to wear a tux, even though I think a man in a tux is woo.
Right.
But if he was willing to dress it up, no.
But that's the thing is, could there have been further conversation? Like, look, like, you see, if you explained it just like the way you did, like, this is the way I make my money. This is the way I, sustain my business, is how I get client, have that kind of conversation. That looks different to someone than, hey, I just don't want to wear the suit. But maybe the why behind it, could have helped with the conversation. Meaning like, dang, you just couldn't like that. Like, there couldn't have been more.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, there was dialogue. There was dialogue. We talked about it. And I explained to him, well, I do this a lot. And he was like, nope, no. And I said, so you're saying that if I was to go to these events, you wouldn't go with me? He said, no. So I said, so I'm supposed to find a +1 for a black tie affair or a premiere or a networking event or a gala? And he didn't answer, because I think no man wants to say, yeah, go find you a guy that would be. So he didn't answer that, but he was not willing.
Wow. Okay, Sharon. My goodness. Okay. Woo. That's a whole different episode. Lord. Okay. So I'm back now. Sharon, I gotta have you back on the show for real. Another episode. Like, I really appreciate your honesty, and yeah, I gotta have you back on. So
I'd be happy to come back. Let's start a revolution, lady.
All right. Revolution.
Oh my goodness, y'all coming for me. It's okay. I can handle it. Handle it.
Okay, woof, Lord. Okay, so any final comments before we kind of tune out on, just what modern day women, are looking for from a man? If they had to have like 3 things, like what are the 3 things you would say if they want a modern woman? What 3 traits, or what are the things we're looking for? Tell me.
One of the first things I will say to a man, don't make an assumption when you see a modern day woman. I tell people all the time, if you take the time to get to know me, you'd be surprised how laid back and down to earth I really am. Bougie is what you see on the outside. People who know me know different. And I've heard it. Man, when I first met you, I thought that you just thought that you were better than other people. I heard that in high school. But I got to know you and you're really cool. I've had guys say that to me. So gentlemen, please don't let the way a woman looks, what she does for a living, how much money you think she makes, what she's driving, intimidate you. You'd be surprised that that woman is actually looking for a man that she can surrender a lot of that strength and a lot of all that aggression, and she can surrender to, believe it or not.
Okay.
And then also I will say to the modern day woman, try not to put a $ on the value of a relationship. Don't measure that man against yourself. Don't do that. You could be missing out on a really, really great guy. Now, if he's not willing to wear a tux, then by all means, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But yes, gentlemen, get to know a woman before you decide who she is. That's one of, get to know who she is before you determine based on what she looks like or what she does.
Oh, okay. Now, thank you again, Sharon, so much for being on this episode. Woo!
You're welcome.
All right now. Okay, and thank you again, viewers at home, for joining us on my comfy couch. Sharon, I'm going to put your info up on the screen, okay? So people can reach out to you if they're interested.
Don't come for me.
IG, okay? That's not what this show is about.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
All right. And we'll see you guys next time on my comfy couch.
Thank you. Bye, guys.